みんなは俺が守る。
わめくがいい。ここだ。
木を読み違えてるよ。
無能。ここだ。
褒めてあげよう。
ガンオーテイ君のために
西洋など。ここだ。ここだ。無能。無能。無能。邪魔するな。これは報い。
By the end of this video, you're going to find a team build for Xiao that's going to maximize his damage profile while allow you to find the playstyle that you enjoy the most. Xiao is definitely a tough character to build around, and whether you're completely lost on where to start or you have a rough idea of what you want to do, I think you're going to love the recommendations I have. I've gone ahead and put together a list of some of the most stylish and explosive Xiao teams that feel so smooth and satisfying to play, and also provided ample budget options that are just as powerful. So whatever your character library may look like, I guarantee you that you'll find at least one team that you can plug and play or make some adjustments to for your own enjoyment. If you're as excited as I am, make sure to hit that like button, comment, and subscribe if you find this insightful. Only 10% of my viewers are subscribed, and I enjoy making this type of content for you guys, but it does take a lot of testing and editing, so I'd really appreciate the love. It's completely free. Oh, by the way, I'll be giving away a battle pass to one lucky winner, and all you have to do is comment below for a chance to win. With that said, let's get it started. Xiao is an Anemo polearm DPS character that specializes in lightning fast attacks and a acrobatic combat style. He scales off crit rate, which is fantastic for his late game DPS. However, because he's Anemo, it makes building his teams a lot less straightforward. The only reaction at his disposal is Swirl, which unfortunately isn't some crazy multiplier you get from Melt or Vaporize, and does only 1.2 times more base damage than Super Conduct, which is the weakest electro reaction in terms of upfront damage. So in my opinion, there's not a single elemental reaction we really have to focus on. Rather, we're just picking characters for ability, synergies, and playstyles alone. I think the most important discussion is elemental resonance. For Xiao, I actually like a couple of resonance points listed in order of strength. Anemo Resonance is the best fit for him. This is mainly due to Xiao's insane E multiplier and allowing you to get cooldown reduction on his skill. His E carries the load of his damage when his burst is not up. The extra elemental energy you can generate with one more Anemo character is really relevant given the large energy cost for his burst and the fact that his E doesn't generate any particles when he's in his ultimate form. My second favorite is actually Cryo, because Swirl allows you to apply Cryo to multiple opponents, then you can reap the benefits of the extra crit rate and build your Xiao focused entirely on crit damage. Pyro Resonance and Geo Resonance are great for him to give him extra damage. I actually don't like Hydro Resonance. Even though Xiao burns his own HP, the extra healing you get isn't really necessary, and you're losing out on a lot of other better resonance points. Finally, Electro Resonance is pretty bad on him. Alright, with all that said, let's shift over to team builds. Make sure to skip ahead if you're looking for budget options. With the recommendations below, you can see that each one has its own special playstyle, so make sure to go through all of them, then make a decision on what team you want to build. I've gone ahead and labeled comps Abyss ready if I think that comp is something you can plug and play in Abyss. Again, because the Abyss has different enemies and buffs for each floor, I cannot advise you that these comps will work for all 12 floors. That's why I also have listed an Abyss core for each comp that you can build your team based on the circumstances. Team 1 features Xiao, Albedo, Bennett, and Venti. This team is all about grouping mobs together and doing as much AoE damage to them as possible. Xiao is great with Venti because Venti's E is a battery, and even more so with a weapon like Sacrificial Bow. Venti's burst groups all the enemies together so your plunge attack gets the most value. In addition, Albedo is such a treat in any Venti team comp because of how his E works and acts as another form of battery. Finally, I actually like Bennett as the healer in this team because you're grouping enemies so tightly with Venti to begin with, you can pretty much sit in one area while fighting, which means you'll get a great steroid alone with almost instantaneous healing while you're in Xiao's ult. Also, if you Venti ult but you don't have Xiao's ult up, you can always take the Albedo elevator and do some DPS, a little improv like this. The Abyss core for this comp is Xiao, Bennett, Venti, and then you flex that last spot. Team number 2 features Xiao, Albedo, Fischl or Beidou, and Jean. This may seem really close to Team 1, however the playstyle is completely different. Here you're losing a lot of AoE damage prowess to put in more emphasis on single target damage. Fischl and Albedo act as turrets that add extra damage to whoever Xiao is fighting. I actually love Fischl with Xiao because Swirl constantly procs Fischl's P4, giving you so much value from Oz. Both Fischl and Albedo are also great off-element batteries. Jean is your healer and provides animal energy and resonance. The Abyss core for this comp is Xiao, Fischl, Jean, and you flex that last spot. Team 3 features Xiao, Albedo, Zhongli, and Jean. This is a little different, so bear with me. I know I'll get a lot of comments saying, Animo and Geo have no synergy, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. But remember, Xiao doesn't play off reactions, he plays off his insane damage scaling. So in order to build a team around him, we need to find pieces that will multiply his already insane numbers. One way to do this is to fit in Geo Resonance. This also works really well with the recent changes, which will allow Albedo to profit so heavily off the Geo Res debuff that enemies now take. Zhongli's buff also means an insane shield for Xiao, which gives Xiao the 15% increased damage buff almost 24/7. Zhongli's shield now also provides physical res debuff on enemies when Xiao's not in his ultimate, and animo debuff which helps amplify Xiao's damage and burst even more. Zhongli's burst also allows great CC, which you can then follow up with a bunch of plunge attacks. All in all, this team build makes so much sense that you should knock it until you try it. The Abyss core for this comp is Xiao, Zhongli, Flex, and you flex. Team 4 features Xiao, Ganyu, Xingqiu or Mona, and Diona or Qiqi. This team plays on the freeze mechanic. With Cryo Resonance, you're getting a lot of easy crit rate, which allows you to focus on stacking as much crit damage on your Xiao as possible. Ganyu and Xingqiu's burst pair so well together for permafreeze, which you can trigger with your Xiao's plunge attack as well. As long as you can cancel your plunge animation with a basic attack, you're gonna get pretty good value out of your Xingqiu's burst. Again, because we're focused on freeze, this allows us to play healing that requires you to stay in one place. There's no need to move if your enemies are just gonna be in one place for the entire fight. However, if you have Qiqi, I'd prefer her over Diona here. Her healing is definitely more consistent and allows you more options when you fight. If you want to play Mona instead of Xingqiu, just make sure you sequence correctly so that you can take full advantage of Mona's abilities. The Abyss core for this comp is Xiao, Ganyu, Xingqiu, and then you flex. Alright, now let's turn our attention to some budget builds. Team 5 features Xiao, Fischl, Bennett, and Sucrose. This is a similar concept to Team 1, you're replacing Albedo with Fischl and Venti with Sucrose. Play the exact same you would, focused on AoE damage by grouping with your Sucrose, followed by your Bennett burst into Xiao plunge attacks. Fischl and Sucrose, especially with a couple of constellations, gives you a great amount of energy and damage. The Abyss core for this comp is Xiao, Fischl, Bennett, and you flex the last spot. Team 6 features Xiao, Diona, Chongyang or Kaya, Xingqiu, and then Sucrose or Traveler. This is a similar version to Team 4. You're playing a freeze comp, replacing Ganyu with either Diona, Chongyang, or Kaya. I actually like Sucrose or Traveler here to give you an extra elemental battery and charge your burst as quickly as possible. With Sucrose, you can also group enemies in your Diona's burst, which along with Xingqiu's burst allows you to have a budget version of the permafreeze you get with Ganyu. I'd only play Chongyang here if you have C2 or above, because at that point the elemental burst and skill cooldown reduction you get within his field makes him worth playing. Also remember that your animo damage and Xiao's ult can't be overridden by Chongyang's ice field, which means you get free attack speed while you're in that zone. The Abyss core for this comp is Xiao, Diona, Xingqiu, and then you flex. Team 7 features Xiao, Fischl or Beidou, Xingqiu, and then Sucrose or Traveler. This team is pretty much a direct budget version of team number 2. You're playing with 2 sub DPS carries that have persistent damage while your Xiao's on the field. Electrocharge reactions play very well with Sucrose as a grouper. The only downside to this comp is that you're lacking a healer, so it may not fare that well in Abyss compared to some of these other comps. Nevertheless, this comp is extremely fun to play and has insane damage numbers with very cheap characters. The Abyss core for this comp is Xiao, Fischl, Xingqiu, and then you fit in a healer. Team 8 is my free to play and features Xiao, Fischl, Barbara, and Traveler. This team is honestly very solid, just make sure you play around annoying freeze effects when you use Barbara's E. Xiao's great mobility with his burst and his E helps with this a lot. Barbara will also hold your Thrilling Tales, which gives Xiao a big buff as he goes into his ultimate form. Fischl is just a very solid sub DPS, and Traveler is here for Animal Resonance and an Elemental Battery. I'm extremely excited for you guys to try some of these comps out. To be honest, Xiao made team building a lot more fun and creative, because you're not forced to play around elemental reactions as much. I'm sure you guys are tired of seeing Venti and Bennett in every single team for each character, so this time I was able to come up with a variety of supporting casts that work really well with Xiao. Xiao is really fun with the limited time we've had him so far, and I enjoy his style a lot. His combos are super satisfying to pull off. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like and hit that big red button if you're currently not subscribed. I have a lot more Xiao content coming your way, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching, till next time.